Hello people of the internet, this is Kaiju Noir with a review for an upcoming comic book set to be released at G-Fest XXII, that comic being Night of the Fire Beast, the first in a series of one-shots focusing on the fictional cinematic kaiju Dorugan. Now what I mean by that description is that Christopher Martinez, the creator of this anthology series, has set up a fictional alternate history where a cheap Z-grade monster movie, similar in style to, say, The Giant Claw, was produced during the atomic age of giant monster movies, and this first book is a comic translation of that fictional film. In later issues, we'll be seeing further renditions of Dorugan as the character is passed from studio to studio through the decades. Starting from the beginning, we have a story about the crew of a cargo ship that gets lost on an uncharted island after getting hit by a large storm. As our protagonists Mac and Hudson search the island, they come across the grave discovery that the island houses two gigantic monstrosities that are about to battle to the death. The plot, while short and simple, is able to pack a lot of interesting exposition about its characters thanks to the book's writer, Jonathan Clode. Mac, a World War I veteran, is a character that suffered much loss after witnessing the horrors of war, as well as the darkest side of humanity. As a result, he seems unable to readjust to everyday life, hence why he decided to work on that ship. On the other hand, the young and energetic Hudson is the complete opposite, as he lacks that real-world experience to know what war is like, and thinks of it as simply being an adventure waiting to happen. As the two interact, you can see one generation gradually learning from the other, as he takes part in an adventure not like those from his dreams, but rather straight from his nightmares. The art, done so primarily by Chris Martinez himself, is able to blend fantasy and reality together in a way never attempted before in a kaiju comic. Thanks to the creative freedom that comes with drawing a comic, Chris is able to create large set pieces that evoke a sense of scale, the type that couldn't have been attempted on such a low budget in the 50s. So it's like he's able to produce exactly what the fictional filmmakers had set out to create in the first place. What really gives this comic a sense of identity, though, is Chris's signature use of heavy shadows to help contrast against the white and gray backgrounds. Now, as I mentioned before, the art also highlights the cinematic background of this story, with gray scratch lines imitating old and deteriorated film stock, and subtly exposed visual special effects, and other technical goofs. The kaijus Triceras and Dorugan are intentionally based on generic movie dinosaurs, with a clear inspiration from both Godzilla and Anguirus, possibly as an homage to the never-produced Volcano Monsters, an American film that would have used the suits and stock footage from Godzilla Raids Again. The kaijus are pretty basic in terms of designs and abilities, but it's Chris's art that really emphasized their destructive power and ferocity. These two also contain the best visual references that big-time kaiju aficionados will more than likely get a major kick out of. While I have complained about intentionally exposed special effects in the past, with the likes of Death Kappa, Firebeast's use of them seem to come out of a sense of legitimate admiration, and not one of mean-spirited pessimism. Plus, as obvious as some of these gags are, they never really get in the way of the story, and only scratch the surface of these wonderfully hidden Easter eggs. In fact, they're probably the comics' biggest appeal, due to the likelihood that readers will come back to this book to see if they can find more things that they couldn't the first time around. If there was one complaint I have to make about the book, is that the comic medium's format has a tendency to conflict with the premise of this project, in that the plot, while a perfect length for a one-shot comic in all honesty, feels too short for what is supposedly a feature-length film released in 1959. I guess you can say that for a cheap and badly produced film of this type, much of its fictional runtime could have been spent on long establishing shots, panning shots, and other cinematic techniques to pad out the film. Despite this nitpick, Night of the Fire Beast is an incredibly unique piece of kaiju entertainment, thanks to its metafictional premise, strong writing, and equally impressive art. This passion project was clearly a result of the love for all facets of the giant monster genre, celebrating both its successes along with its failures. And I can't wait to see where this series will go, with that amount of talent and dedication behind it. I'm giving Night of the Fire Beast a solid 4 out of 5. So be sure to pick this up at G-Fest or online when it becomes available. Until next time everybody, take care.